Reality or unreality? Does it matter? As I sometimes mention here, Léo Bronstein was my father's best friend and a kind of godfather to me. One of the many things he did for me, for us all really, was to fill my mind with vividly colored stories whose meaning was not obvious but required decoding. He was part of a family of crazy Russian musicians who did not have to try to be interesting, they just were. One time he came over to our apartment to visit, still excited by an occurrence of that week. His brother's household was a stopping place for wandering souls who found there a temporary home and respite. One of these was Lola. I don't know what he did in his day job or what his talents were. However, I was told that he was a communist and was in the underground. I pictured the underground as a kind of dungeon below street level where unlucky people who had fallen into it were doomed to live out their days. For example, the disembodied voice from the basement, daily heard in our kitchen when the dumbwaiter was ready to be loaded with our trash and pulled by ropes down the shaft, seemed to me to waft upward from the same underground. Anyway, Lola surfaced rarely and unpredictably, but just then had decided to drop in on the spacious apartment of Leo's brother. He had not been there long when the doorbell rang again. It was Lola's sister, Lala. Her tragic history included a seduction at the hands of a handsome musical genius who had left her with a venereal disease. She had been a virgin when she met the genius. In those days, there was no cure, only a profoundly humiliating treatment to be administered indefinitely. The poor girl went mad and was thereafter intermittently confined to one asylum or another. She must have been on furlough when she, too, decided to drop in. Unfortunately, in the course of this visit, Lala began to carry on in so extreme a style that the family felt threatened. It was unclear what sorts of breakables might get broken, vases or heads, but finally they decided to call the police. At the last minute, Lola remembered that he was wanted by the police and stepped discreetly into a nearby closet. Two seasoned New York cops stepped into the beautiful apartment. They listened to the family's explanations. Then they listened to Lala's contrary account. They shook their heads, trying to figure out which one was the crazy one. At that point, Lala broke in to say helpfully, "I will prove to you that I am not crazy. There is a communist in the closet." The whole family, Léo included, froze in horror. For their part, the cops did not hesitate 1 minute. They seized Lala and dragged her back to Bellevue. For if there is one infallible sign that a person is crazy, it's the claim that there is a communist in the closet. What is reality? What is unreality? Does it matter? Reality or unreality? Can we tell which is which? When does it matter? In the case of Lola and Lala, we can tell, and it does matter. A more thorough search would have uncovered the communist in the closet and the crazy woman registered as an inmate at Bellevue Hospital. The cops would still have dragged poor Lala back to her unhappy quarters, possibly detained Lola on other charges, and perhaps implicated the family for sheltering a fugitive. So the actual confusion was curable, but perhaps better left uncured. Real life has the characteristics of a detective story, with many clues strewn about, but not every clue solves every mystery. One has to discern which mystery is one's own to solve.